Good morning. My name is Julie. Thank you for joining me for this chair yoga class through Gilda's Club of Rochester. Anytime you're going to do any type of physical activity, whether it's yoga or walking or whatever that case may be, please be sure to honor how your body is feeling right now, today. If you have any pain or anything chronic or you have an injury that you're recovering from, please take your time, do the movements in the way that your body can do them. Don't worry about pushing, or you don't want to experience any pain or anything that's going to cause you to feel very uncomfortable during your yoga practice today. So honor, your body, its limitations, or if you have a lot of energy today, go for it. And please remember anything that any of your healthcare providers have told you. So please don't do anything that they've told you not to do, okay? At the very least, you could just sit with us and breathe. Do a few movements or a lot. You can modify and change. If you want to do yoga on the floor without the chair, you can mimic what we're doing while seated or lying on the floor or standing. Okay? It's completely up to you. Today would be a really great idea for you to have a small towel, like a longer dish towel, one that comes a little wider than your shoulders maybe, or even a little bit longer than that. Or some folks will use a belt, or they will use a yoga strap. Okay, so it just depends on what you have. So we are going to use that today. I'm going to take my strap and put it over the back of my chair. Let's start seated in our chair as tall as we can be. So that means not sitting your tuchus all the way. Sorry, it's just a phone glitch. So that means not sitting your tuchus all the way back to the back of the chair, but maybe midway to the chair. Or if you're shorter of stature, maybe a little bit more forward in the chair. Both feet are on the floor. Wide enough so that you're comfortable. Place your hands on your thighs and just begin to roll the shoulders, and let's talk about some breathing. Inhaling as the shoulders come up, exhaling as they move back and down. Inhaling and exhaling. Do this slow. Imagine it's the best feeling in the world, and maybe for you right now it is. Just that opportunity to roll the shoulders and breathe, inhaling and exhaling. And then finish sitting nice and tall. Reach up through the tops of your ears so you can feel your neck lengthen. Let the shoulders, the tops of the shoulders relax away from the ears. Sitting up tall means your tailbone doesn't tuck underneath the bottom of you. So sometimes I even move the flesh of my back end straight back a little bit so that I can sit on my sit bones a little more squarely. This helps my spine lengthen up. Breath practice, so very important in our lives. When we practice breath, we actually tone the respiratory muscles, which is a wonderful thing to do, right? So that when you're holding a yoga pose, or maybe you're doing some difficult work or gardening or fixing something in your house or whatever you may be doing, you'll be able to get full, even breaths if your respiratory muscles are strong and toned. And that's what breathing practice does for us. So let's do a little bit of breathing practice. Sitting up tall with the shoulders rolled back. You want to kind of line those shoulder joints up, back over your hips. Feel nice length in the spine, nice curve in the lower back, and then it comes up, a little curve in the back of the neck. Move the jaw straight back. Gorgeous. You can place your hands on your rib cage if you want, or you can keep your hands on your thighs. You can close your eyes if you like, or just gaze downward a little bit ahead of you on the floor, nice and easy. And just breathe. Each breath is a great breath. I had a student ask me once, can you tell me if I'm breathing right? Can you tell me? I don't think I breathe right. It's like, relax, let your body breathe. Don't worry about it. Right now, we're not trying to change it. Just experiencing each in-breath and each out-breath. And noticing where we feel sensation in our bodies when we breathe. Not to judge or to change, just to be aware of. Now as we breathe, let's focus a little bit more on our rib cage. The rib cage creates the inhalation. So the next time you breathe in, you should feel the rib cage widen so the lungs can unfold. And then with each exhalation, the lungs move away from the inside of the rib cage and draw in and down. The ribs float back down. Focus on the ribs, the rib cage. So the inhalation is created by the movement of the rib cage. The exhalation is created by the squeezing of the lungs. Just focusing on this helps us to understand just how strong our body is. Each time we focus on our body, its movements, its health, creating wellness, it's an act of courage to continue time after time, day after day, to begin again and again and again. Each breath, a new breath. You'll also notice that as you inhale and the rib cage widens and lifts slightly, the belly softens. And then as you exhale and the lungs pull down and away from the rib cage, the belly draws in as the rib cage lowers. The three work together. The actions of the diaphragm moving up and down, the actions of the intercostal muscles along the rib cage, helping the rib cage expand and contract back down. The muscles of your core, the abdominals, and the muscles on the back of your body. Focus now on how the rib cage moves with the inhalation and how the lungs squeeze on the exhalation. And see if you can feel that on the back of your rib cage, on the back of your lungs. Did you know that the majority of your breath, the breathing, the movement occurs in the back of the lungs? The filling of the lungs. Take a moment now and just breathe naturally and softly. Focus on the smoothness with which the inhale flows into the exhale, and the exhale back up into the inhale. You don't need to drag it or force it. Just focus gently. Take a moment, maybe with your eyes closed, to think of an intention for your practice today, or maybe an intention for the rest of your day. Why did you come to yoga practice today? What's your intention? Maybe it's for your body, maybe it's an action that you want to do for someone else or for your family. Set a gentle intention for today. You can open your eyes, acclimate to everything around you. Bring your hands to heart center. Great job. Let's add some breath. Inhale. The palms up now. Let's get a little movement. Ooh, feel the side to the waist. Exhale, the palms down, elbows draw out to the sides. And again, inhale. Each time you inhale and you draw those arms up, and it doesn't matter how high they go, press down into your sit bones. Feel the curve in the lower spine, right? We want to keep that nice neutral curve. Notice that the muscles of this waist engage. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Let's move through the hips a little bit. So we're going to do a little bit of lifting and lowering. Normally this is done laying on your back on the floor. But when you do it in a chair, it adds a little bit more balance challenge. So you're going to use the muscles of the core. So let's think about that rib cage. As you feel that you're trying to balance your body, engage the right side of your ribs and the left side of your ribs, so the right and left sides of your rib cage in towards the center, as if you're trying to get your lowest floating ribs to hug together a little bit more, to create stability. And when we begin to balance in the chair, by lifting a leg. So inhale here, exhale, lift up that left knee, left leg. Hold behind the thigh. Doesn't matter if it's only an inch or two off the floor. Let's take a moment to circle the ankle one direction and the other. point and flex. Inhale here, exhale, release. Inhale to the other side now, and as you exhale, take the left foot off the floor. Go ahead and circle. A little bend to the elbows, a nice tall spine, and know that you feel that you're leaning back a little in the chair, and that's okay as long as you're not rounding back. We don't want to pull the belly button in and round that mid-lower spine, right? We want to keep it a little bit more neutral. Use your abdominal muscles instead, knitting the left and right sides of your rib cage towards each other. Point and flex, and release. Let's do a little alternating movements, inhaling the arms up, and as we exhale, bring the left knee in towards the chest. Gorgeous. Place it down, inhale up, and exhale the opposite knee, and go back and forth. Inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. One more, inhale, and exhale. Awesome job. Let's see if we can extend. This is going to be a little strengthening for the leg. So as we extend through the left leg, we'll slide the left heel forward so it stays on the floor, and this straightens the leg, flexes the foot. Inhale the arms up, and exhale the hands down to heart center. Place the hands on the hips, inhale here, and exhale, hinge at the hips slightly forward. You're going to feel more of a stretch in the back of that left hip and the back of that left leg. It's okay if the left knee stays a little bent. Draw the left toes toward the chest. It's a great way to stretch through the back of the hip and the back of the thigh. Beautiful. Just keep breathing, hinging, not hunching at the spine, not rounding the spine. And inhale back up with the torso, and exhale, bring that leg in. Great job. Inhale here. Exhale, extend out through the right leg so the heel stays on the floor and the knee straightens only as much as is comfortable for you. Lifting up those right toes up towards your chest. Inhaling here, exhaling, hinging at the hip. So we're feeling a little deeper stretch to the back of that right hip and the back of that leg. Everyone's a little different here. When we hinge, we'd like the spine to stay neutral, so we need to hug in the abdominal muscles. There are folks with great flexibility who are able to hinge much further and bring their chest toward their shin. That would require the spine to round a little bit more. But today we're working on strength of the waist, hugging in and knitting the right and left sides of the rib cage towards each other, and breathing while we do so. So how far you hinge depends upon how far you can go while keeping the spine neutral, which shouldn't be very far. And then when you're ready, inhale the torso up, and exhale, bring that leg in. Great job. So let's see if we can practice this with the foot off the floor. This is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. You can do what we just did again if you'd rather, okay? So sitting nice and tall in my chair, I'm going to hug in the side waist, the front and back waist. Again, I'm going to kind of bring the right and left sides of the rib cage or the lower ribs kind of knitting towards each other, so I don't push the rib cage forward of my hip bones or tuck it way back behind my hip bones. Okay, so I'm trying to keep my kind of rib cage a little bit more centered over my hips. Inhale. As you exhale, you're going to bring that left knee in and extend the left leg. Now, this is a challenge, right? You can hold on to the thigh, press out through the bottom of the foot. If you want to challenge yourself, you can lift it higher, not challenge yourself so much it's lower. You can leave it up and bring the hands up. This is an even bigger challenge. A lot of strengthening going on for the top of that thigh, yes? Inhale here, exhale, lower arms, and heel. Bring it in. Great job. Let's try the other leg, right? So inhale up. As you exhale, we're going to bring that right knee in and extend through the right leg. It's okay if the knee isn't perfectly straight. Just try not to round your back, right? Let's try to stay as tall as we can. And it's okay if the heel goes closer to the floor. It doesn't have to be up high, okay? Whatever works for you. You can keep your hands behind the thigh or use a strap, or you can challenge yourself, lower the heel a little bit more to raise the arms up overhead. Feel that muscle strengthening. Breathe, you're doing great. Feel the rib cage hugging in. Great job. Keep breathing. And then inhale and exhale down. Good job. Awesomely awesome. So I mentioned that we would use a strap or a towel for opening up our shoulders. So grab what you have. I put my strap in the back of my chair. Maybe you have a longer dish towel or hand towel you can use. Sitting on the chair, both feet nice and flat. I'm going to lay the strap or whatever it is I have across my lap. My knees are over my ankles. My sit bones are right down in that chair, so I'm moving the flesh of of my back end back out of the way a little bit, and I'm sitting towards the front third of my chair so that my feet can be flat on the floor. If you are a little shorter of stature and you don't have a low enough chair to have your feet flat on the floor, put a couple books or magazines underneath your feet so they raise up to a point where you feel you can sit up tall and be comfortable. So taking the strap or the towel in both hands, we're going to widen it a little wider than our shoulders and reach out in front of us with our elbows straighter. You'll notice as we begin to lift our arms up, as we hold onto the strap, that the muscles of our waist are going to begin to work. So we don't want to pull the strap tight. I'm not asking you to engage the muscles of the upper arms. Just hold it taut, okay? Wrists nice and flat. We don't want to bend our wrists. And then when we're ready, inhale up, and you need to make it wider. When you get up higher, that's fine too. And exhale back down to shoulder height. And inhale up. And exhale down. And inhale up. Whenever you move one of your levers, and that would be your arms or your legs, away from the center of your body, your core muscles have to work. Those are your abdominals and the muscles of your back, the muscles of your girdle or your torso, however you want to call that. Inhale up. Exhale back. Some of you may notice that your elbows stay a little bent, and that's okay. Some folks can go a little bit further back, but please be careful. We don't want to feel any pinching in the shoulder joints. We certainly don't want to feel any tightness in the neck. So make sure that the neck stays and remains free as we do these movements. Now we're going to add on to this. So we're going to lift up overhead here to where you're comfortable, straps over the head. Keep the sit bones down in the chair. Inhale here. Activate all those waist muscles and lean a little bit over to the left. So you can do a little side bend and you're going to move the arms and the strap a bit. Gorgeous. And inhale, center. And exhale, a little bit of a lean. I know it's going to be challenging to keep those hips in the chair, but you can do it. Inhale up. Exhale over. And again, inhale up. Exhale to the other side. And go back and forth as it works for you. Maybe you need to change the strap position. That's okay. It's a little bit of a side bend. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And back up to the center. Let's bring the strap down to our lap. Great job. Roll the shoulders. Awesome. Let's bring the hands out, palms up towards the sky. Again, sitting up tall, pressing down through those sit bones. Inhale here. Exhale, just turn at the wrist, the palms down. Inhale here. Exhale, draw or grasp the back of the chair. Now, some folks are sitting forward enough in the chair, they can clasp their hands behind their back if that feels comfortable, or they can hold the strap behind their back. But the chair is really the easiest thing to grab onto. But if you're one of those people and you want to bend your elbows a little bit more and clasp your hands behind you, you can definitely do that. Everyone's a little different here. But the purpose of this is to widen, open up the front of the shoulders and along the clavicle, along the collarbone, without jutting the head forward. Keep moving the jaw back in the line. The jaw stays even with the floor. Just breathe. Inhale and exhale. Great job. So hopefully that felt good. We have one more option here, and that's to make a circle. So you can do whichever the arm exercises work for you. And you may not even want to use the strap anymore. Maybe you want a couple of you to just have your hands up overhead. But I'm going to take the strap, again, a little wider than shoulders width, and inhale it up. Now what I'm going to do is I breathe, inhaling and exhaling, nice wide width here. I'm going to bring the strap to the side. And then I'm going to bring it in front of me. And then over to the other side. And then up. Side. Shoulders in front. Side. Up. Side. Shoulders in front. Gorgeous. And if you make the strap, the hands and the strap even wider, you can make a circle. So you can bring it in front of you and back behind your head. But that's only if that's comfortable for your shoulder joints today. And it may not be comfortable for your shoulder joints. And that's okay. Then just do side, top, side, front. You don't have to go behind your head, bending the elbows. Gorgeous. Let's go in the opposite direction. So we're going to go side, up, side, front. Or if you like, side, up and behind, side, front. So you choose how you want to do this, whether you want to make the circle or not. Notice as you make the circle, the torso, the muscles of the waist have to work to keep you balanced. That's okay. We want strong core muscles, right? Go at your own pace here or rest if your shoulders have had enough. It's quite all right. And release the strap down. Wow, great job. Just kind of roll those shoulders. Oof. I'm going to take the strap and set it aside. Great job. So we want to work on our legs just a little bit more. So we're going to do some more hip openers and leg strengtheners. So let's take a wide position with our legs. So if you're seated in the chair, you're going to be towards the front edge of the chair. And you're going to widen the knees out and widen the feet out. So it's more like a squat position, but you're sitting in a chair, so it's much easier. But we'd like the knees and the toes to go in the same direction here, okay? So imagine as you widen the feet and the knees out, and maybe you're going to take them a little wider. Maybe you're going to challenge yourself to take them a little bit wider, right? Or maybe not, but knees and toes in the same direction, okay? Let's bring the hands to heart center, feeling a big stretch in the inner thigh area. Now let's bring the hands to cactus or goalpost position. Inhale here. Exhale, left elbow towards the left thigh. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, exhale, right forearm. Gorgeous. Inhale and exhale. As you do this a few times, you might want to stretch the upper arm overhead. Inhale and exhale. Feel your abdominals drawing in on the front body. That's a beautiful thing. Whee! Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. And then come on back up. Great job. So now you're going to keep both hands on the thighs. And we're going to do a little bit of twisting here, but we're going to hinge and turn. So it's not a big twist. It's more of a small turn, kind of stretching some of those connector muscles that work from the back of the hips and come up through the front of the body. So hands on the thighs, elbows a little bent, hinge slightly forward from the hip. Now, straightening the right elbow, turn the chest to the left. Good. So this is not a big twist, but you can actually feel this in the back body. Breathe. Can you feel this along the muscles of the back body? Now inhale back to center. You're still hinging just a little bit. And on the next exhalation, you're going to straighten the left arm and turn the chest to the right. Great job. Feel the stretching going on here. Notice I'm not pushing my knees open with my hands. I'm not doing that. Back to center, inhale. Exhale once more to the left. Beautiful. By straightening the elbow, inhale center, exhale once more. Straightening the left elbow, turning to the right. Get a little bit of stretch in some of those back muscles. And back to the center position and up. Great job. It's a great, great, great stretch. So when we extended the leg out and lifted it off the air, off the ground in the air, we were strengthening the quadricep muscles. So let's stretch them a little bit, okay? So turn side of the chair, getting ready for a lunge position. So I'm turning side of my chair and I'm holding on to the back of the chair with my left hand, and I'm going to slide my right leg back behind me, tucking the right toes under and extending out a bit. Ooh, so I can feel this stretch happening here. I'm also feeling a big curve in my lower back, and that's okay. This is a back bend type position, so you're going to curve the back. But if it feels a little crunchy to you, then bend the knee, bring it in a little bit, and then I'd like you to lift your rib cage up away from the seat of your pants, and then stretch the back leg, and notice the difference there, right? Because we don't want to crunch up any of the vertebrae. Sometimes we just have to remind ourselves to lengthen the sides of our waist. So we have this front knee and ankle lined up. We're lengthening from the sit bone of my right side all the way through my right heel. Give me a nice length, really stretching through the front of my hip. And you want to increase the stretch. Think of really arching the back a little bit more and lifting that right arm up. Nice. So as you lift the right arm up, you're just lifting the sternum, that front center of the chest, kind of drawing it forward and up a little bit. So think about this is a crescent shape. So very often in yoga, this is called crescent lunge. Inhale here, exhale, come back to the tall torso position. So now we're going to do a little bit of twist towards the back of the chair. Inhale the right arm up. As we exhale, turn the heart to the left and float the right hand down to the back of the chair. It's okay if you don't twist very far, if you don't go all the way to the back of the chair. It's fine and dandy. A small twist is great too here, just a very little twist. Breathe. Again, think about if you feel any crunching, think about lifting those bottom ribs up and away from your pelvis. You'll find a little more space there. Inhale here, exhale, turn back. Great job with the lunging. Okay, now yeah, there's another side, there's another leg, so let's turn the other direction. So my right thigh and butt cheek are on the chair. I've got my knee and ankle lined up on the front. I'm going to extend my left leg back on my back toes. And the minute I begin to extend the leg back, you can feel the lower back want to move in and the whole back want to arch, and that's okay. That's a natural thing. It's functional. It's what your body wants to do, and that's quite all right. And it's okay if you can't straighten the knee. And again, if you're feeling any crunching here, bend the back knee so it's not quite as serious, and then lift in. It's like you're taking these lowest ribs and drawing them in towards the back body and up a bit. Create a little bit more space, and then extend and straighten the knee. See how that feels. You may notice a lot more freedom there. So we're creating this beautiful arched position. So we are arching the back. We are opening up the front body. You are making a beautiful crescent. Inhale the left arm up. Gorgeous. Well, some folks will put both arms in the air. I have one on my chair, so it's completely up to you. It's going to be more of a balanced challenge if both arms go into the air. So that's your call. The sternum is lifting up, pointing up at an angle towards the ceiling, and that's where your face looks. Don't need to drop the head back. Breathe here. We talked about toning the respiratory muscles. Breathe. And then release. So now the torso is a little taller. Keep lifting those lower ribs up and away from your pelvis. Inhale here. And exhale as you turn towards the back of the chair, floating the left hand to the back of the chair. And if you feel you need a little more support, press down into that right heel, that right foot. You can always modify by bending the left knee a little bit more, bringing the left knee in a little bit more, especially when you're twisting. It's okay. You can definitely do this. Make this a little bit more square, as opposed to really stretching so much through the front of that back thigh. And hip. Keep lifting the rib cage up away from the pelvis to give you so much more space. And think about that too, anytime that you're seated anywhere. Anytime you're sitting and you're feeling kind of not so great, press down through the sit bones, lift the lowest ribs, lift the rib cage up away from the pelvis, draw the shoulders back, and you'll notice a big difference in how you feel. Gorgeous. Inhale here, and exhale, turn. Let's bring that back leg in. Great job. Very valuable are cross-legged positions. Why? Well, because they stretch the piriformis area and some of the gluteal muscles. By crossing the one leg over to the other direction, you're stretching a lot of these very strong muscles that help motor us through life, right? Walking, climbing stairs, running. So crossing the legs gives us a bit of a stretch. So we have some options here. You can cross the left leg over the right leg as if you were having coffee. The right knee and ankle line up down here. You can cross that. As long as you're sitting up tall and not rounding the back spine, not bringing that tailbone underneath you, but rather imagine if you had a tail that was lifting up off the seat. Or we can bring the left foot and ankle across the right thigh. This is like the number 4 position. Some people call this thread the needle. Maybe you like this. This is comfortable. Keep the foot flexed. This is a great way to do it. If neither of those is working for you, it's okay. You can cross at the ankle. Just remember to widen the top knee out to the side as much as you can. So whichever of these variations you've chosen, okay, hold that variation. And you don't have to push. It makes me very nervous to see people pushing on their legs or their joints trying to incur a stretch. Take a nice easy breath in, exhale, and see what you can let go of. Because sometimes it's mental, not just physical, our inflexibility, yeah? Inhale and exhale. Now, depending on which position you're in and how you feel about it, you know, if you're crossed at the ankles especially, you may have room to hinge at the hip and slightly bring the torso forward over the front leg. Now, you can do that if you're in this position here, crossing at the ankles, or if you're crossed at the legs, you can definitely hinge a little bit at the hip. You may feel more stretch in that outer hip, and that's the point. That's why we're here, right? So whether you hinge forward or not, this may be challenging enough for you, whichever position you've taken. Be mindful, keep the foot flexed so that the ankle and the knee stay lined up. Very often tightness in the hip can skew the alignment of the hip, the knee, and the ankle, and that can cause some issues. We don't want to cause any issues. And then come on up and release, and there's another side. So you can take the ankle over and widen the knee out to the side, so cross the top ankle over the bottom ankle, or you can cross your legs. That's comfortable for you. Spread the toes a little bit, sit up nice and tall. We tend to round back when we're crossing our legs, so again, lift the rib cage up away from the pelvis. Draw the shoulders back and down. Or you can take the number 4 position if that's more comfortable for you, this thread the needle type position. And you can just sit here, just breathing, pressing down to the sit bones, reaching up to the crown, or you can add the hinge forward with the hips. So the hip hinge, so the torso comes forward in a nice neutral way. And just breathe. So whichever position you've chosen, maybe just think of letting something go with each exhale. What can you shake off? Ugh. Well, it's okay. I shouldn't have eaten that half a bag of potato chips last night while I was watching TV, but you know what? I'm going to let that go. I'm just going to kind of shake my head and go, oof. Exhale and just let it go. It's gone. With these cross-type hip stretches, which you can do at home, sitting in a chair at a table, whenever you get the chance, the longer you can hold it, the more openings you'll feel. Hip stretches are just notorious for that. The longer you hold them, the more beneficial they become. And we're ready. Inhale up and exhale, release the leg. Great job, Tim. You did a wonderful job today. Let's sit in the chair, the top third of the chair, feet flat on the floor. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down once again. Let's bring the arms out. Inhale as we exhale, hug across the front of the chest and relax the shoulders down. This is going to help open up the shoulder blades a little bit. Keep the head nice and neutral. You don't need to pull on your body. Just hugging is fine. Feel the shoulder blades widen. And then let's do the other side. Inhale out and exhale. Hug yourself and relax the shoulders down. What happens when a lot of people do this type of stretch for their upper back is they don't realize they're squeezing their shoulders up near their ears when they do it. So we really like to, even if you're doing just one arm at a time, very often in fitness, that's how you stretch the muscles of the posterior deltoid. You bring just one arm over at a time across to the opposite shoulder. And even when you do that kind of stretch for fitness, relax the shoulders away from the ears. And then let's release. Finding that comfortable seat, pressing down to the sit bones, reaching up through the tops of the ears. Bless you. My son is practicing over to the side there. Can't see him. Inhale and exhale. And then find your breath in its rhythm. Like a tide rolling in and out. Like the gentle swing of a hammock. Inhaling as the hammock swings out. Exhaling as the hammock swings back. Whatever visual. Whatever helps you stay right with the breath. Sitting in this awareness. Not moving ahead of ourselves. Not lagging behind. Right here, in this breath. And this breath. This breath. Place your hands at heart center. Gently open your eyes if they were closed. You honor me when you share your yoga practice with me and everyone else who's tuned in here. I honor the divine teachers within all of you. May we all find peace, no matter what we are given. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your week, folks. Thank you very much.